me, and I am going to bring up Karen Baker, who is the Democratic candidate in Virginia's 9th Congressional District. It's a rural district in southwestern Virginia, and we can talk to Karen together about her race and what she's doing. So Karen, welcome to the Friday Power Lunch. Let's talk a little bit about this race and how you decided to jump on in.
Okay, thank you for having me today. I'm Karen Baker. I am from Floyd, Virginia, which is a small town in the 9th District. I have a background that makes me able to imagine being in Washington. I can hold my own, having been a federal administrative law judge, assistant general counsel of the EEOC, and a trial attorney with 30 years of federal service. I'm also a nurse. I went to nursing school after retiring from the federal government because I wanted to serve, and I wanted to serve person to person, and I did that. So I have a breadth of experience that makes me a credible candidate. I also have a history of being a servant. I've always seen myself as a servant of whoever I am working for. And that's what I tell people in the 9th District. I'm here to serve you. I'm not here to make a career of being increasingly important. I'm not moving on to the Senate. I'm here to serve you. And of course, this is where my age falls well. It's a good thing. I decided to run because everybody else was afraid to run. So your fear thing that's in here. I don't know if you can see this. This has been tattooed on my wrist for many years. It's Latin. It means don't be afraid. So that's one of my lodestars. Don't be afraid. So I decided to run, and I've been in this race for 3.5 weeks, during which time I have devoted my time to 3 things. 1, I need 1,000 signatures to get on the ballot, and we're going to make it. 2, to going to every Democratic county chair that I can and speaking to as many people as I can. 2, 3, get their committees energized to support me and to get out and work for me and for Tim Kaine and for Joe Biden. Now, when you speak of despair, I think that that's been kind of the way the Democratic committees feel about the 9th District. Sorry, that's my legal background speaking. The 9th District is because we just kept losing. We've had a farmer who was very credible. We've had a military vet. We've had a young environmental activist. And now it's me, the old lady. So, okay, it's like, actually, I think I have somewhat of an advantage here because the 9th District is filled with older women who are tough and strong and independent and have kept their families together through all sorts of despair, loss of jobs. Their children are leaving because there are no jobs, which means their grandchildren aren't there. Their husbands are losing their jobs and there's nothing for them. So there's a lot of despair in the district. And I'm more able to speak to that and say, I get it because I have been through it too. So I think Karen, that's an advantage. Yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome. And I think that I loved it when you said, I can hold my own. And so that gives me a great optimism. And I think that one of the things it gives you with Lindley, because Lindley holds her own too. And I think it feels to me like that you are interested in trying some really different things and a little bit of innovation. So before we go, because our time is up, Lindley, can you talk a little bit about the really great billboard campaigns that you were doing that certainly may benefit Karen and the work that she's doing?
Oh, Lily, yes.
I will definitely put information about that in the chat. And in terms of innovation, just from an awareness perspective for everyone here, this election is coming quickly. And really the opportunity to innovate is really now before the primary is over. So we are doing a lot of work at the moment to reach voters around the issue, specifically talking to voters that our mutual friend Roberta Thacker Oliver is always talking about, the folks who are registered but simply not voting at all. In the 9th Congressional District, that's over 200,000 voters, and they need to hear from us. So there's a lot of innovative ways we can go about doing that. If you have those ideas and want to participate, there's a lot of ways to do that. But once we get into campaign season and the coordinated campaign is up and running and things are getting locked into place, that is purely implementation and execution of those plans. So if you want to bring your ideas to the table, now is the time to do it. Yesterday, but today is just as good. But don't wait. We'll be doing a lot of the projects, like I said, the billboards, the texting outreach, the doors in a lot of different districts. And I'll share information about that in the chat. Something that I think I just want to point to, one thing we know when we recruit candidates is that women typically have to be asked 5 to 6 times. Men normally just have to be asked once or sometimes not at all. So I just want to point to the fact that I think it's really valuable to hear Karen point to her past and to say that she is qualified, she is credible. This is a great example for women to hear and see and recognize because it's hard to do. We don't make it easy. And I'm hoping to see a world where we have women step up and say, yeah, I stepped up. Like, why wouldn't I? Clearly better qualified than Morgan Griffith. So I'm really glad to see that and happy to support you.
So we have about 10 seconds. And so, Karen, I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and then I know we'll have to go to our next segment.
Okay, what I just want to say about the barriers that I face, it is called pastors, and they're telling their congregations that men get the word from God and men spread it to women. Women in leadership of any kind is very strange. So I have to do this door-to-door convincing people, individual people, that I'm not something that's going, that I'm theirs. I'm for them, and they have to overcome what's visceral for them. So that's a huge, huge barrier.
So we'll work on that with that whole your vote is private thing. So you guys have been listening to Lindley Thorne from Rural Round Game, the political director, and Karen Baker, who's running for Virginia's 9th Congressional District. Thank you both.
I'm so inspired.